Welcome to JD's Prep. In this video, we will discuss lead poisoning and the potential dangers it could have in our bodies. This paragraph reads, two pathways which lead can enter the human body are ingestion and inhalation. Once in the bloodstream, lead is distributed to parts of the body, including the brain, bones, and teeth. One reason that lead is toxic is that it interferes with the functioning of a variety of enzymes. It acts like metals such as calcium and iron and replaces them, changing the molecular structure of these enzymes. In the case of calcium, lead is absorbed through the same cell membrane channels that take in calcium. Lead affects children and adults in different ways. Even low lead levels in children can cause many different problems, including nervous system damage, learning disabilities, decreased intelligence, poor bone growth, and death. In adults, high levels of lead can cause hearing problems, memory and concentration problems, muscle and joint pain, brain damage, and death. It wasn't until 1971 that steps were taken against the use of lead with the passage of the Lead Poisoning Prevention Act. However, lead is still a public health risk today. Let's answer some questions based on this information. It is recommended that children eat foods high in calcium and iron as a way to reduce the accumulation of lead in their cells and enzymes. Explain why this is a scientifically valid recommendation. Well, we know that adding calcium and iron in their diet could potentially help offset any possible lead contamination, especially since we see here in the paragraph that it acts like metals such as calcium and iron and replaces them, and this could change the molecular structure of these enzymes. So I'm going to write down here that adding calcium and iron Adding calcium and iron in their diet can help offset any potential lead contamination. Let's move on to the next part. Describe how the presence of lead in body cells could interfere with the ability of enzymes to function. As we saw before, we learned that lead acts like metals such as calcium and iron and replaces them, changing the molecular structure of these enzymes. In the case of calcium, lead is absorbed through the same cell membrane channels that take in calcium. So we know this could act like a competitive inhibitor on an enzyme, especially those enzymes that are meant for calcium and for iron. Let's move on to the next part. Based on the parts of the body that are most affected by lead intake, identify one type of cell that would be expected to have numerous calcium channels, and we have to support our answer. Well, one type of cell that comes to mind is the nerve cell. let's support our answer. Well, we know that the parts of our body that were mentioned, the brain, bones, and teeth, those are all parts of your body that are sensitive to pain, which mean that they have the presence of nerve cells. But what does this have to do with the numerous calcium channels? If you recall from your biology class, we know that there are such things as voltage-gated calcium channels. And what these do is they create action potential when they cross neuron membranes. Recall that in the problem, it states that in the case of calcium, lead is absorbed through the same cell membrane channels that take in calcium. And that is why it could be very dangerous for lead to be in your body, especially because we have these calcium voltage-gated channels. And these are all found in nerve cells. Thanks for visiting JD's Prep.